Okay, so in the first lesson we learned GCF. The GCF is a strategy that you should use on every problem, no matter what it looks like. And then we also talked about the ABC problem, the simple ABC. That's called factoring a trinomial. I want to start off by reviewing the simple ABC, ax squared plus bx plus c. The thing that makes it simple is this term right here. This term right here is equal to 1, and you'll actually never see it because we don't write the 1. So when you see that, it's all about making the list for the C, and then out of that list, you have to make it combine to the B, and then you can just put those into your two parentheses. So by the time you're done, you end up with something looking like this. Now what we're going to do today is we're actually going to do this method called factoring by grouping. Factoring by grouping should be really easy to identify because you only do it when it has 4 terms. Now when you're doing factoring by grouping, it's 3 basic steps, and it's heavily reliant on GCF. So the first step is a step we call split the middle. So there should be a sign in the exact middle of the problem, so we're going to separate each side into 2 sets of parentheses. Now, I put in parentheses just a sign if necessary because if there's a minus, it kind of changes how we do the problem just a little bit. So watch out for that minus in the center. Step 2 is to GCF each set of parentheses as if it was separate problems. So what we're going to do here is split up the problem into 2 separate parts, then GCF each set, and if we do this right, we should end up with parentheses that match, which technically is a GCF. So I'm going to show you this first one. So the first one has 4 terms, so we split the middle. Now don't put the sign in the middle in the parentheses, so we just take out the GCF of each part. So the GCF between 6 and 15 is going to be 3. And then the GCF between x squared and x is just going to be x. So I put the 3x out in front, and then I write down what's left. So I have 2x plus 5. The sign in the middle just comes down, and then I take the GCF of the second set of parentheses, which in 4 and 10, it happens to be 2. So I put the 2 in front, and then I write down what's left after we divide, so that gives me 2x plus 5. If you notice the colors I'm using, this is how I can tell if you did it right. Our parentheses should match at this step. You got the 2 sets of 2x plus 5. Now by definition, if they both have it, that's technically a GCF. So we take the matching parentheses and we pull it out as the GCF, and I like to write it first. It doesn't matter where you write it, but I like to write it first since that's where I usually put the GCF. Then the original GCFs become the second set of parentheses. And that's our answer. So I'll show you that a few more times. So in this set, we're going to take, it's not the same one. Yeah, it's not the same one. Okay, so we're going to take, split the middle, GCF. So this case would be 4x. So I put the 4x in front. I have 2x minus 3. Bring down the plus. GCF the second part, which is just 2. So I put the 2 in front. And then in parentheses, I have 2x minus 3 again. And again, that's how you know you're on the right path. These parentheses should match. If they don't match, you did something wrong. So now we take out the 2x minus 3's as the GCF of each pair. And then the 2 that are in blue, they go into parentheses. So that's our answer. And like we talked about yesterday, it doesn't matter which problems you put first, as long as one parenthesis says 4x plus 2 and the other parenthesis says 2x minus 3. Okay, I got a couple more examples. So this one right here, we split the middle. So in the first set, we take out an x squared. In the second set, hang on a second, we got this. So on the inside, we have x plus 2. Now if you notice the second set of parentheses, it already says x plus 2. Our goal in this line is to make the parentheses match. So basically, I don't really want it to change, so I'll just divide by 1. So the GCF remains 1, and then that leaves this as x plus 2. Guys, that's the only time we ever take out a GCF of 1. So now we have x plus 2, and then the second set is created from these front parentheses. So these GCFs are x squared plus 1. That's our answer. So let's see how having a negative in the middle affects our problem. It's just one minor adjustment you have to make. So we put the parentheses, we put the parentheses. So right there, that's actually not the same problem anymore. Because as soon as I add the second set of parentheses, this minus distributes and changes that to a minus 6. So what we have to do to accommodate that is whatever sign is on the right, just change it. So if it's a plus, make it a minus. If it's a minus, make it a plus. From this point on, we should be okay. So the GCF of the first set is 4y. So I'll put 4y in front. And then I have x minus 6. You can see again, let me bring the sign down. You can see again, these two parentheses already match. So that means all I have to do is pull out a 1. So I have 1 in front. And then in the parentheses, I have my x minus 6. And that's the matching parentheses. So the matching parentheses, we write them once. And then the stuff that was in the front, these two right here, they go in the other set of parentheses. 4y minus 1. And that's pretty much it. That's how you factor by grouping.